My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Latest Afrobarometer reveals Ghana's democratic credentials are under threat, with reports saying President Akufo-Addo has grown increasingly heavy-handed, stifling the media. We'll update you on the latest findings. Also coming up, international research and data firm Fitch Solutions predicts a win for National Democratic Congress flag bearer John Mahama and the NDC in the December 7, 2024 general election. Much later on the program, exploration activities at Ewoya lithium project site suspended following death of one of the workers. We'll touch base with our reporter who is in the area. Plus, President Akufo-Addo reiterates his resolve to finish uncompleted projects as he commissions 120-bed Adansi North Hospital and 120-bed Komeu Hospital, all in the Ashanti region. Thank you very much for joining us, and let's start off from here. International research and data firm Fitch Solutions is predicting a win for the National Democratic Congress flag bearer and former President John Mahama and the NDC in a December 7 general election. The London-based firm argues that 54% of respondents surveyed tipped the former president as the winner in the upcoming presidential election. In its mid-year review for Sub-Saharan Africa, Fitch Solutions explained that the current state of the economy will play a significant role in the choice of voters in December. Now, an associate director of country risk at Fitch Solutions, Mike Kunija, said, quote, "We believe that the opposition National Democratic Congress has a stronger chance of winning the upcoming general election compared to the new Patriotic Party," unquote. Now, he said that a Mahama-led administration is also likely to continue with the International Monetary Fund program initiated by the Akufo-Addo government. I'm joined in the studio now by Safo, who'll be bringing us details. But ahead of that, Professor Kobi Mensah is a political communications and marketing strategist. He joins us live on the phone. Good afternoon to you, Prof. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Beatrice. Good afternoon.
It seems a number of data research groups are predicting a win for Mahama. He can go to sleep and expect a win, right?
Absolutely not. I mean, polls are actually guidance. They guide you to intensify your campaign, especially looking at where you're strong and then looking at where you're weak. And, you could put together a program that could really confirm or assert your position. So you do not say that because the polls are actually saying you are in the lead, you go to sleep. In any case, the election is about 5 months away, and so you would want to take precaution and make sure that you can tighten your belt, you can tighten your campaign, and drive home your message.
Beyond driving home your message, intensifying campaign, I heard you mention strengthen the areas where former President John Mahama is not in government. So how do you mean exactly?
Well, in the political campaign field, there are strongholds. There are areas that you are not strong in. There are demographics that you have, a certain, power. There are others that you're very weak in. So, every political party, has that particular profile. You've got to actually identify those places that, do not, put you in a strong lead and see whether you can work on the voters, at least for them to understand what your message is. Even if they're not going to vote for you, you need them to appreciate what exactly you want to come to power to do, why they should actually return it to power. And so, yes, it is crucial that even if you're in opposition, you look for where you're weak and where you're strong and you work on them.
I know that it's just about 5 months to the polls, and like I said, a number of groups, just a final one from me, a number of groups are predicting a win for Mahama. Do you think that there's a possibility of, things turning around? Because there are certain people who say that if I see the kind of changes I'm looking for, or just a bit of it before the elections, I could change my mind.
Absolutely. In political communication, we call the campaign the period of intensity. Much as the political system is about policy and delivery, it is also about strategy. You would have to find out how compelling is your strategy, over your opponent's strategy. And so, yes, you could actually be thinking that you're in the lead, but you have to be mindful of what strategy you go forward. Of course, there are certain key principles, and I have always argued that democracy gives us a return policy. If you buy milk and it's wrong or it's not good, you can return it. That's a return policy that the market actually gives you, so that you do not actually be taken advantage of. The same way in the democratic practice, the Constitution gives us a return policy. So if a government becomes autocratic, if a government does not serve the purpose for which it was brought into power, and the Constitution gives us the right to return that purchase that we did. And so these principles are there. However, you should be mindful that it's also about strategy. Currently, you could see that the government, because the government has lost the country, they're trying to push their strategy through heads of institutions, through coercive means, through fear and favor. Some may cower, others would not. And so you would have to be aware of these strategies that they're doing in order that you could actually cover your back and you can meet them toe to toe. So, yeah, you cannot rely on the despondency of the people, the apathetic nature of the people, or the idea that democracy says when a government doesn't perform, you boot them out. You cannot rely on only that. You also have to have a strategy to fight whatever strategy the incumbent has.
Thank you very much. We ended here, Professor Kobi Mensah. He's a political marketing and communications strategist. Thank you for speaking to us. And speaking of governance, Ghana's democratic credentials are under threat. That's according to the latest Afrobarometer survey evaluating democracy and its gains on the African continent. Per the report, there's growing dissatisfaction among citizens on the continent to the practice of democracy, with more and more people fancying military rule. In the case of Ghana, satisfaction with the practice of democracy has declined by some 21% over the last decade. The report adds that, quote, even Ghana's much heralded reputation for clean elections has been tarnished by increased violence, with 8 fatalities during the 2020 presidential polls, and President Akufo-Addo has grown increasingly heavy-handed, stifling the media and eroding the accountability of institutions, unquote. And Wisdom now joins us with some details. Wisdom, beyond what I just talked about, what more can you tell us about the details of this report?
There's a lot of details in the report by Afrobarometer, but let's divide this into 2 contests. We first look at the African context and the Ghanaian context, as in Ghana's context. Afrobarometer has been doing this report on the African continent for almost 3 decades now. And first, they began with the African context. They said in early 2000, the African continent, 82% in general were against military rule. But in recent years, that number is declining, meaning they are embracing military rule and they are expressing their dissatisfaction for democracy. Let's boil down to the Ghanaian context as well. So when you come to Ghana, according to the report, the support has dwindled by 6 percentage points from 82% to 76% in a span of 10 years. That's a decade. And also, Ghanaians are expressing, they are shifting towards military rule. They are calling for military rule, and they are saying that the military can intervene. About 40% of Ghanaians are saying that, military should intervene when the economic and democratic atmosphere is unstable and it's, it's not supportive in terms of
not meeting the expectations.
Exactly. So another interesting aspect is that 10% has expressed their dissatisfaction to how the people respond, their leaders respond to their needs and the governance as well. And this is very important. They said 55% has perceived corruption in the presidency. They are saying that at the apex of our governance, the presidency, they find it very corrupt. That's the perception they are having about our presidency. And they are saying that 35% of them are saying that they don't believe that the local governments are effective and their officials are not listening to their cries. And these are the key aspects of the reports. And as you rightly mentioned, they're also saying President Nana Akufo-Addo has grown increasingly heavy-handed and stifling with regards to accountability by institution and having the media investigate and scrutinize him as well. So that's what the report is saying.
Wisdom, I think there was also a bit that they believed over 90% felt that people in government, when they went wrong, they still went unpunished.
Yes. And so that's what boiled down on the accountability. So they are saying that the government in general are not availing themselves for scrutiny. And that's very concerning for us. So yes, it's a general sentiment. And when these things continue to compound, it gives room for military intervention. You have the case of Guinea, you have the case of Burkina Faso, Niger, about 7 coups.
Mali.
Yes, in just 7 years. In just West Africa alone, recently ECOWAS, about Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso, they came out to say that, look, we don't want to join ECOWAS. We want to form our own coalition.
Because ECOWAS had a stance against their military takeovers.
Exactly. So Ghanaians and Africa in general, we are becoming very, very, futuristic about our future. We feel like, democracy is not good for us, and maybe military might help. Who knows?
But in that report, again, I recall seeing that although a number of them are going towards the military, they also disagree with institutionalized military rule, as it were. But just briefly before you go, what about support for democracy? Did the report state that?
Though, in general, they are leaning towards military rule, they also appreciated democracy. People believe that, look, though our leaders are not doing the best, but we don't support military rule. About 79% of the African continent are saying that, look, we know that we are not being governed well, but the worst form of democracy is better than the best form of what military rule. That's what the Afrobarometer report is revealing this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Wisdom Safo. Let me just bring you a bit more detail of what Wisdom was just telling us. 39 countries' support for democracy remains robust. 66% of Africans prefer democracy to any other system of government. 80% reject one-man rule, 78% reject one-party rule, and 66% reject military rule, as you just heard there. Let's head to the central region where exploration activities at the Ewoya lithium project site have been suspended following the death of one of the workers. This has raised safety concerns as at what is said to be West Africa's first lithium mine, potentially operated by the Australian listed company Atlantic Lithium. George Quaining is there. He joins us live on the line. George, just first of all, bring us reaction of residents to the suspension.
Thank you so much, Vici. And I'm speaking to you live from Ewoya. Ewoya is the catchment area where the mining will take place. So at Ewoya, that's large part of the mineral is here. So it's part of the catchment areas, and then there are 4 others. So that's where I'm talking to you from. And so the site here, last week, one of the workers died. And so there are 3 containers on the site, and there are samples in them. So the news I got is he was trying to take some of the samples. And then if you pick, I don't know, it weighs more than 5 kilograms. And then I think, I hear he was trying to pick some of the samples, and then accidentally it poured on him, and so that's what really caused his death. And it's related to the Odiko of Salt Pond. His 1-week celebration is slated for Saturday. So we went to the house, engaged the mother and some residents about it. It's like they're tight-lipped. They don't want to talk about it. I don't know what it is, but everyone seems not to talk about it.
It means they are not openly reacting. They are not openly reacting to this.
But it's a sad mood here. One woman that confided in me told me that the guy is a decent guy. He's a very shy person. Even if he sees you and he's greeting you, he's very shy. There's no bad news about it. We've never heard any bad news about him before. Even the day he was going to work, he saw him, greeted him and everything, and then that, she didn't know that was going to be the last time, But if you engage the youth in the community, they are not up for the mining because they feel they'll be shortchanged. If you compare some mining communities like Obuasi to maybe what their town will be like after the next 15 years, they feel there'll be nothing to boast about because it has not helped these communities. So why should we go for something that is not going to help us for the next 15 years? And the last engagement they had with the youth at Ewoya was the EPA forum, where EPA brought the assessment report. So for the report, it ticks all the boxes. So it's a green light on the part of EPA for the money to hold. But for the youth, they want a copy of the assessment report. And that has been the problem. Like, there's no transparency. The procedures are not open, and that's the concern. If you are coming to maybe a town and you come and say, this is the air quality, this is what you've assessed. So after 15 years, we still want that same quality left before you leave. And so this is what the youth want. They want engage them. Engage. So they feel most of the chiefs have been,
bought, as it were.
Their palms have been greased. So actually, their hands are tight. So they're actually imposing something on them, and that's they just want transparency.
So
it's not a bad idea to mine this because lithium, of course, is actually known now as white gold, and countries are doing their best to ensure they maximize the gains. And one interesting thing is the fact that AI is going to reduce the demand for lithium use for electronic vehicle batteries because N2116 is going to be in high demand. So what lithium is doing, N2116 is going to replace that. So it's either we are doing it now and maximize it, or wait and say when you say jack, then lithium prices have actually gone down. So it's just you have to find a fine balance and know how they're going to maximize economic gains of this very rich mineral.
Indeed. Thank you very much, George Quainin, reporting live from Ewoya, that lithium mining site. Let's do some health-related story now. And it's been a long wait, but the Fomena and Kumeu district hospitals in the Shanti region have now been commissioned. Minister for Health, Dr. Bernard Okuboy, said the government is committed to expanding access to healthcare delivery across the country.
By January 2025, where by the grace of God you'll be handing over power, Mr. President, the Ashanti region is expected to have about 2,000 beds added to their health infrastructure capacity. Mr. President, if you add those on Agenda 111 list for the Ashanti region, you are looking at close to 3,000 beds addition within an 8-year period.
You heard Health Minister Bernard Okuboy. Ibrahim Abubakar is flowing this for us. He joins us live on the line. Ibrahim, these hospitals, just tell us whether they've started.
So these are 120-bed hospitals, and they are among 5 district hospitals that were started in 2015. In fact, the contract, we were told, was signed and awarded around 2012, but the project itself started in 2015, and they were located in Kumeu, Shai Osudoku, Karu. So as I speak to you, the Fomena and Kumeu 20 beds have been completed, and yesterday officially the president commissioned it. It's 2015 till now, 9 years. In fact, it was supposed to be completed in 2017, but we were told that due to financial constraints, and it had to be dragged, and finally it's been commissioned. And it has come as a relief to residents there because already residents from that district and even beyond had to move to Kumasi, travel hours to Kumasi to access quality care at the Konstanoti Teaching Hospital. And with this commissioning, it means no more have to be coming to Kumasi for health care. So now that project at Fomena will cater for the people of Adanse, Obuasi, Asqua, and the rest, and even part of the central region. Then the one at Kumeu will look at Robonso, Etijati, and other districts that are very close to the area. So like I said, it's been very, very long, but finally it's in commission and residents are excited.
Indeed. And Ibrahim, I know that per the information available, both hospitals have 120 bed capacity. But can you tell us what the president said at the commissioning?
Well, he said that government is committed in completing all health facilities, whether they started it or not, just so the people of Ghana will have enhanced healthcare services, because this is towards attaining the Sustainable Development Goal 3 of making sure that we have universal health coverage by 2030 for all Ghanaians. So that is what they are doing for now.
I stand before you to reaffirm my government's unwavering commitment to completing critical projects, regardless of which administration initiated them, to enhance the quality of life for our people through superior healthcare services. The completion of the Adansi North District Hospital is a testament to our dedication to providing state-of-the-art health facilities in line with current healthcare standards across the nation.
You heard President Akufo-Addo commissioning 2 hospitals in the Ashanti region. Ibrahim Abubakar is still on the line with us. Ibrahim, let's move away from the hospital issue, because we also do understand that there was a near fisticuffs between the Ashanti Regional NADMO Director and the Chief of Nahin. So can you tell us what sparked this?
So on Monday, the Chief invited the media to show us he intends to upgrade. And he said the assembly is frustrating his efforts. Apparently, he said the assembly has stopped him. That's the Minister Assembly has stopped him because he has not gotten any permit from them to upgrade the road. Now, you go to the community and you realize that he's also digging a pit just to get the sand to work on the road. But this morning, the NADMO officials, when they said the arrest was not even in relation to the road he was constructing, but because he was filling a wetland that is causing flooding in the area. In fact, the chief was insisting that before his activity, that place was already experiencing some kind of flooding whenever it rains. But his intervention is to prevent that flooding from happening. But NADMO also said no. And this is also contributing to the flooding that we are experiencing. Not that alone. We also have a Gridco pylon that he has taken the sand around the pylon. So they see that to be a threat to the people of the area and even beyond the area. But first of all, let's listen to the chief's voice, Nana Adu.
School Quaraho. Nursing school you are. Ya were quite na ayasi kwano so. Ayasi hono. Monfa kwano metoho. Na nyanyambiano. Se kwan we kura sia. Na ambulance ba. Na ankoye problem. Amayen.
So you just heard the chief there as introduced by Ibrahim Abubakar. Ibrahim, are you able to tell us briefly what the man said in Tree, and also give us a quick response of the NADMO coordinator in terms of his reaction to this?
Well, he was briefly about the bad state of their road and the need to shape it, and he wants to target the initiative with the assembly is not ready to do so. But NADMO, like I said, we're also insisting that where he's taking the sand from and filling is the wetland. For that, they even called for his arrest this morning and said they'll make sure they pursue the case until he stops from that activity. Frank Ogbodu is the Ashanti NADMO boss.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Abubakar. He's our Ashanti region correspondent. Thank you for speaking to us. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM. Now, the dengue fever outbreak in Ghana has spread to the central region, with the number of cases increasing to 37 in the last 3 days. 9 cases were first detected in communities in the eastern region by healthcare workers using an appropriate case definition On July 14, farmers in the 5 affected dengue fever districts in the eastern region are unable to work long hours on their farms due to the spread of the insect. And we'll be bringing you more in our subsequent bulletins. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM now. The Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ogbodu has urged African Union member states to enhance their commitment to providing quality and access to education for their people. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the 6th Midday coordinating meeting of the AU regional ministers, she highlighted Ghana's significant achievements in the education sector, referencing the government's free SHS and STEM education.
Has significantly increased access to quality education. Since its inception, senior high school enrollment has risen from 308,799 in 2016 to 507,519 in 2024, which has positively impacted gender parity at the high school level. Our government recently launched the Ghana Smart Schools project, which focuses on providing tablets to learners in senior high schools and technical and vocational education and training TVET institutions across our country. In our efforts, we have not overlooked the importance of the creative arts. Developing a strong creative arts sector fosters well-rounded citizens who are adept in creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. We are working towards the construction of a creative arts high school to advance creative arts education. Your Excellencies, several enduring lessons have emerged from our experiences with STEM education, which we hope to share for your kind consideration.
You heard Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ogbodu. Some news coming in. Some health workers at the Danfa Polyclinic in Accra are on a sit-down strike. There seems to be some confusion going on there. We'll bring you more in our subsequent bulletins. And that's how we end the news here on 3FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Log on to shrinews.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
Imagine a day where the entire family will converge with music, food, family, water park enjoyment, and exciting activities like water slides, go-karting, horse riding, jet skiing, canopy walk, and so many games with the entire family. Welcome to 3FM's Family Fun Day at Marina Park on Founders Day holiday on August 5th, 2020.
Development Show Host of the Year, 2016-2017.
And the winner is John Hughes. Check.
Hi, my name is Johnny Hughes, your community rights advocate, and I'm still on the quest to bring smiles into your communities with Community Connect on 3FM 92.7. Join me this and every Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on 3FM, and together we will solve the problems bothering your communities.
I know your program is a program that always get a result. Myself, I'm a witness to that.
What can we do to help your community today in terms of education, health, sanitation, security, and all the issues in between from your community's perspective? Tune in to Community Connect every Friday morning at 9 a.m. as we get interactive live on radio and on Twitter at 3FM 927 and on Facebook at 3FM 92.7. Community Connect, helping solve your community problems.
Well, hello there. Good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up this afternoon, produce buying company PBC near collapse as workers appeal for government bailout.
Our appeal to the government is that if the necessary resources cannot be mobilized for PBC to continue operations, there is no need keeping government appointees as leaders of the company.
Also, Ghana Revenue Authority targets 20% tax to GDP ratio by 2027. Julia Siam is its Commissioner General.
Ensuring that taxpayers operate within a transparent tax regime that ultimately serves the nation's best interest.
And later, National Petroleum Authority (NPA) intensifies collaboration with Ghana's security agencies to rid the country of illegal fuel smugglers. We hear from its Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Mustafa Abdulhamid.
They have created what they call dindies, and these are specialized canoes that they use along our coast to smuggle petroleum products into our country.
Well, I'm Michael Ogbodu. I'll bring you details of our top stories and more shortly. Please don't go anywhere. Well, thank you very much for staying with us. Straight into our top story. The Managerial Staff Union and Local Union of the Produce Buying Company, PBC PLC, is calling for government intervention to avoid the near collapse of the once viable cocoa buying company. The union laments for the first time in the history of the company it has not bought cocoa in the main crop season due to lack of funds. The union further stresses that the current poor performance of the company has brought untold hardship upon the workers of PBC as workers' salaries have not been paid for the last 11 months.
For the company to remain in business in the short to medium term, it should be assisted to 1. Pay salaries of workers. 2. Reorganize and reposition the business. 3. Obtain working capital for its operations. And 4. Ring-fence its debt to enable it access credit. Management of PBC PLC. As workers of PBC, we are wondering what exactly the management is managing. For the first time in the history of the company, we have not bought cocoa in the main crop season. Our appeal to the government is that if the necessary resources cannot be mobilized for PBC to continue operations, there is no need keeping government appointees as leaders of the company.
Well, some very disturbing updates there from the Produce Buying Company. You heard speaking there, Cosmos Tekamure, who is the national chairman and Professional and Managerial Staff Union of the Produce Buying Company. We'll cross over to the phone lines now and speak to my colleague Shadrach Esrifi, who is live on the grounds to bring us updates on how things are faring over there. Shadrach, can you hear me? Well, we'll work on establishing contact with Shadrach, my colleague on the grounds. The press conference is currently underway in Accra, the Produce Buying Company's headquarters. But away from that, in the meantime, the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, says it has made significant progress with its efforts at ridding the country of illegal fuel smugglers. According to its Chief Executive Director, Dr. Mustafa Abdulhamid, in excess of 322,000 litres of smuggled fuel products through collaboration with relevant national security authorities. He spoke at this year's Ghana International Petroleum Congress organized in Accra.
They have created what they call dindies, and these are specialized canoes that they use along our coast to smuggle petroleum products into our country. We have intensified our collaboration with the Navy and the Marine Police and the Ghana Maritime Authority. And in the past year or so, we have arrested about 322,729 liters of smuggled petroleum products, mostly AGO. The arrested sea crabs had on board fictitious documentation in respect of the sources of these products. I seek to thank the Ghana Navy and the Marine Police for their collaboration with us.
Dr. Mustafa Abdulhamid is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, NPA. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, aims for a significant tax increase, targeting a 20% GDP tax-to-GDP ratio by 2027. To achieve this, the authority is expected to focus on improving operations, prioritizing staff well-being, and ensuring a transparent tax system for smoother taxpayer compliance. Commissioner General Julie Siam is of the view the second half of 2024 will be crucial for implementing these plans.
We will build on our achievements and drive further enhancements in our operations while prioritizing the welfare of our staff. That is very important to us. And also ensuring that taxpayers operate within a transparent tax regime that ultimately serves the nation's best interest. We will continue to focus on our transformation initiatives to optimize our platform for effective revenue mobilization. We are fully committed, ladies and gentlemen, to attaining our goal of achieving the 2024 fiscal year budget of 146 billion cedis.
Julie Siam is the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Now, despite the current downturn in the country's bond market, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has highlighted green bonds as a viable alternative for investors. The market slowdown has been attributed to the impact of the domestic debt exchange program. However, speaking at the launch of the green bonds guidelines in Accra, the Director General of SEC, Reverend Ogbodu Tete, stated that green bonds could provide more options in the capital market, offering investors sustainable and potentially profitable opportunities.
A key challenge that we have, had to deal with is how to deepen the capital market, and one of the ways to do that is to broaden the availability of products. One of the things we hear from the market is we don't have a lot of options. So this is really deepening the market, widening, if you like, the investment universe to create more opportunities for monies to be channeled. The point is, when you have money and you don't have options, it becomes a big headache. So the more options you have, the more excited you are about channeling those options to create money. Yes, there are challenges within the macroeconomic environment, but I think that we can all attest the fact that there seems to be improvement. The indicators are moving in the right direction. So we will only hope and pray that things get better where the economy is concerned. But for this particular launch, we are excited that we are creating more scope for more products that will give more options to the economic actors out there.
So that was the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Reverend Ogbodu Tete, speaking there. But before we leave you, let's go back to the phone lines and try and speak to my colleague, Shadrach Esrifi, who's bringing us updates from the quite disturbing revelation coming up at the produce buying company PVC PLC press conference held earlier today. Shadrach, thank you for your time. Very disturbing information coming from the PBC. How bad is it?
Yeah, thank you, Michael, for having me. So, the problems with the PBC, I think, is not new to us and our listeners, but let me bring up to speed. So we remember that some few months ago, because the produce buying company could not, due to lack of funds, they are not able to buy enough cocoa beans. Their debt piled up to the extent that they were giving a court injunction, the bank that they owed them were giving court injunction to even sell their assets. Now, according to the workers, the managerial staff of the company, this inability of the company to buy enough cocoa beans has resulted in the company's inability to pay their paid staff for over 11 months' salary. So for about 11 months now, staff of the company have not been paid. And that means that their estimates have not been paid, their medical bills, deductions have not gone through, their provident fund has not gone through. According to the staff, this has brought an untold hardship on them, including of some of their staff members, because they cannot afford medical bills. They used to go for a free medical checkup at Cocoa Hospital, then the company will pay later. But because the company do not have enough funds to even do that, workers can no longer access healthcare, quality healthcare. So because of this, most of the workers have lost their lives. And so They are appealing to government. They are appealing to government to come to their aid in terms of paying salaries of workers. We organize the reorganize and reposition the business so that CBC will come back to business. We also want government to obtain a working capital for its operations, as well as ring-fence its debt to enable it access credit.
Interesting. Shadrach, thank you so much. We'll have to leave it here. We're out of time. Thank you so much. That was my colleague Shadrach Asifi bringing us live updates from a press conference organized by the Produce Buying Company PBC, where there are some concerns that the company has not been able to buy cocoa beans so far this year, and workers are owed as much as 11 months' salary. We'll bring you more of this particular subject in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Michael Ogbodu. This has a business brief here on 3FM 92.7. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.